Hi, welcome to this Greg's Bass Shed video lesson. In the last lesson, 126, I showed you 5 positions in which you can play 7th arpeggios on the bass. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can get those arpeggios and turn them into bass chords. Now, not all of you are going to want to play chords on the bass, and most of us won't really use them in our day-to-day bass lines, but they can be really useful to learn for a variety of reasons. Number 1, you can use chords on the bass just to simply get to hear how they sound, different chord types. Number 2, you can record chords on the bass using a looper pedal or a piece of software, and then you can play your own walking bass lines or solos or grooves over those sequence of chords. Number 3, you really get to learn about harmony and how it works when you learn about chords. Number 4, you can just use the top couple of notes of a chord. And you can use those in a lick or a riff. You can base a riff around some chords here. So just those top notes sound really good on the bass. And number 5, they're just really fun to play. So I'll very quickly refresh the 3 7th arpeggio shapes that I learnt in last lesson, but you might want to look at that video if you're not sure. So we'll stay in D, the same as last lesson, but we've got our 7th D7. Another name for that is D dominant 7. And then we have D minor 7. Okay, and we can play the 3rd here. That was one of the other positions, so that's the same way to play it, but try it there first. So that's D minor 7, and then D major 7 is with the major 7th. So back to the major shape with the 3rd there. Okay, so I'll just play those again. So D7, D minor 7, D major 7. And when we say major 7, we're referring to the 7th note in this case. Okay. Now we can take these shapes right up to the D above the 12th fret, so on the 17th fret of the A string, and you can play the same shapes. They're quite tight on a sort of bass like this. If you've got a 24 fret bass, then it's a lot easier. But I'm not really getting you to play the arpeggios here for any reason, but we can work the chords out from them. So we'll just try them. So that's D7, D minor 7. And remember, we can play the 3rd here as well. Okay, and then D major 7. So we've got exactly the same shapes down there, up here, starting on the 17th fret. Now we can get our notes of the chord from this arpeggio. Now the important notes are the root, the 3rd and the 7th. Now on the bass we just play mainly 3-note chords. So we're missing out the 5th and we're missing out the octave. So for those shapes we just play the root, the 3rd and the 7th. So we'll start with D7. So we've got the root, the 3rd, miss the 5th, the 7th, miss the octave. So we've got those 3 notes. Okay, so root, 3rd, 7th, and we have that shape there. And play them together because the arpeggios are just notes of the chords played separately. So we just play these 3 notes together, and that's our D7. Now if we go from D7 to D minor 7, all we have to do is drop the 3rd down, and that's our middle note. Okay, so D7 or D dominant 7 and D minor 7. Okay, so we're just dropping that down. Okay, now I've put all these shapes on a PDF along with the arpeggios. You can download the PDF by clicking the link below this video in the description. Remember also to subscribe to my channel, to Greg's Bass Shed here on YouTube, by clicking the red subscribe button and click the notification bell. So yeah, I've written all these down, but I'll show you again now. So we've got D7, D minor 7, and if we want D major 7, that's the 7th there. Okay, so from D7, we put our 7th up 1 fret. Okay, so D7, D minor 7, D major 7. And we can pick these individually if we want. Okay, and now you're going to kind of really need to work out a fingering pattern that suits you, but I always start with my kind of second finger on the root, but it's up to you. Kind of some different people play it different ways. So that's how you play these 3 7th shapes on the A string. Now if we had something like, if we had to do it on E, on the root, say E7, now the E is really hard to play up here. It's really tight on this bass. So what we can do is we can put the root down on the E string. Okay, so if we pick E on the 12th fret, and we can build our chord up again, but we've got a slightly different shape here because we've got root, the 7th, we missed out the A string, the 7th, and then the 3rd on the top. So if it's E minor 7, so E7, that's our 3rd on the top there. Okay, so we've got 12, miss out the A string, 12 on the D string, 13 on the G string. So we've got E, D, G sharp. Okay, and that G sharp is really the 3rd. So we could play it here. We could play that same shape we had, but it's just a bit muddy again. So we put the 3rd on the top. Okay, so you'll kind of have to learn 3 new shapes. So what I want you to do now is pause this video and see if you can work out E minor 7 and E major 7. Okay, so just remember that you've got the root, that's the 7th, and that's the 3rd. Okay, so you're dropping the 3rd for the minor 7 and you're raising the 7th for the major 7. Okay, so take your time, just try that out and then come back to the lesson. Okay, so I'm going to play those 2 shapes for you now. So this is E minor 7, so it's all along the 12th fret. Remember, you're not playing the A string. And then E major 7. Okay, so you've got 12, missing out the A, and then on the D and the G string you've got 13, 13. Okay, so the 3 shapes, E7 or E dominant 7th, E minor 7, E major 7. So you end up with 2 positions for each chord, one starting on the E string, one starting on the A string, and you can choose which ones you want to use. If you've got a 24 fret bass, you've got more options for playing them on the A string further up. Okay, now these chords can get confusing, I appreciate that, but just remember, so for the minor 7 you're playing a minor 3rd and a flattened 7th. For a normal 7th or a dominant 7th you're playing a major 3rd and a flattened 7th. And for a major 7, you're playing a major 3rd and a raised major 7th. Okay, so spend some time learning those, and it will really open up theory and understanding of chords and intervals when you do this. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about chords in this lesson. If you did, can you please like and share this video and leave a comment, which I'll definitely answer below the video. And also, if you want to help support keep these videos going, then you can buy me a coffee and the link is below in the description. Remember also to subscribe by pressing the red subscribe button. Pick up the free PDF below in the description, and also if you want some more bass resources, books and courses and more free resources, then head over to my website gbshed.com. Again, all the details are in the description, so have a look at that description. I've got loads of stuff in there. This is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. Hopefully I'll see you very soon in the next lesson.